This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Teresa White, who is the site supervisor at Ushers Ferry, the pioneer-era village outside, not quite outside of Cedar Rapids, but on the very east edge of Cedar Rapids. It used to be out of town.
Used to be.
But now it's right in the middle of a lot of development.
Huge development around there in the last
just
2
past
years.
Xavier's. So before we start, I want to talk about what's been going on. I know you've done some changes and updates to the site, and of course there are programs and things like that. But for those who may not be familiar with Ushers Ferry, who haven't been there, just tell me a little bit about its history.
Well, it started as what they did was during the time where they were taking down all the houses and urban renewal and everything in Cedar Rapids, someone had the idea to have a pioneer village. So it started then, and the well system was there. Cedar Rapids owned that area from the well. So they just built a pioneer village, and it slowly expanded and expanded.
And of course, I even referred to it as a pioneer village,
Right.
and I know that's not the era anymore.
Right, but it's still 1890s to 1910. That's the town that that's trying to be portrayed out there, or is being portrayed out there, I should say. But it used to have 36 buildings. They built up to that point, and then in the flood of 2008, we went down to 20 buildings, which was much more manageable, actually. And then we were able to build the lodge, which was a huge asset to that site, which keeps the site alive, actually. The lodge is what keeps the site going.
Because that's an event rental.
That's an
center,
event rental
so.
center. Yep, as I was telling you earlier, we have rentals pretty much every weekend. We have a lot of weddings. We also have events of our own out there. But we also we're having the Quas family is having their reunion, their 100-year reunion out there in June, which is pretty cool for 300 people. So that's really a unique thing, and they're going to use the whole site, which I like. Instead of just the lodge, they're going to open up the village, and they're going to have a school teacher in the school and a preacher in the church, and have a church service, and yeah, it'll be great.
Because there's a church, as you said. There's a church. There's a school. There's a bar. There's a tavern.
Saloon. There's a nice saloon, yeah.
And bank.
Nope, the bank's gone.
Bank's gone. Bank
was
went in the
gone.
flood.
What we actually have now is we have the, if you go down below, there's the saloon that's still open, and the general store, and then the Snowball House, the little check house. We've redone the telephone house, and the lawyer's house up on the hill after all these years has finally been redone. So it's really nice. We have central air conditioning, central heat, a restroom in there, a kitchen. It's beautiful. And that's
Not at all like what it was in 1890.
No, not at all like 1990. Well, it is interior. You just wouldn't know the other stuff. And then the Tokheim exhibit is in there, which is the pump. And so that's
right,
a very...
because the John Tokheim invented the gasoline pump in Cedar Rapids.
Yes. And so that is our one big treasure, and that is in the front room of the lawyer's house. It's open for everyone to see during open hours. So that's really nice.
And of course, you are open for just people to come and tour.
We are from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., June through August, until 5 p.m. on Wednesdays.
But probably the other thing, in addition to the rentals that you mentioned, the other thing that keeps you busy during the summer is summer camps.
Right.
As you're getting kids away from the screens and out into a different environment. So tell me about some of the summer camps.
Well, one of the first ones we have is Dangerous Day Camp, and that starts June 12th through the 16th. And it's basically... The pioneer child used to do some daring and daunting activities from long ago, and that's what we do. We take these kids outside in nature. We add dangerous to all these things because that's what really attracts them. They're not totally dangerous, but they have a little element of it so that it makes it more interesting. Something we're doing a little different this year is we're starting, a lot of our day camps were 8 to 12-year-olds, and they were always, the mothers were dropping off the 8 to 12-year-olds with their little 6 to 8-year-old brothers and sisters. So we've now added junior camps. So we have a lot of those programs, like the Dangerous Day Camp will also be for 6 to 8-year-olds, and they go for an hour and a half instead of 3 hours. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. We have for the first time this year a junior zombie camp, because our zombie camp is
the zombie camps have been huge.
They're huge. They're huge every year, and they're full again already this year for both the morning and the afternoon. So we added a new little junior zombie camp for 6 to 8-year-olds from 1 to 2:30, which should be interesting to see because sometimes it's the older kids that are scared. And I'm interested to see how these little kids do. But they've been coming, watching their brothers and sisters and everything else, so I think they'll be pretty good. And then we have a Huck Finn camp, which is another boys camp, and that is in the end of June. And then we have the zombie camp, of course, but that one I think is almost full. And we have a fantasy foam battle, which was full last year, which was a lot of fun. They designed their swords and everything, and then they taught them fighting and acting and that type of thing. And that was really, really well received. For the girls, we have an American Girl Camp for 6 to 12-year-olds, and then for 6 to 8-year-olds, and then 9 to 12-year-olds. So that one is every morning in June. And we also have a Prairie Girl, Prairie Girl Primer, that's a lot of fun. We have a lot of school tours out there. So all through April and May, every single day.
So the kids have been out there, and they've had a brief tour, and now this is their chance to come back out and dig more deeply.
Absolutely. And when it's really cute, I love what our staff does with the school tours, because they bring those kids back in time. So each child that comes in is one of the members of the family of the people in the village. So the ones that are really, really into it come dressed.
They have a name, they have a biography.
Yep. And so that's a great asset. So then we kind of carry that over through the Prairie Girl Primer. So the little girls then can come out there and learn how to sew and proper behavior in that time. They have Victorian, they do journaling and walking, and they just do all kinds of things that are really old-fashioned, cooking on the hardwood stove. So that is 6 to 8-year-olds are like an hour and a half, and then the 9 to 12-year-olds are for 3 hours. We also have, we started canoeing the last several years, and that's gone over very well. So we have canoe camps to teach kids to canoe in our backwaters down at the end of the gate. So that goes well, and we also take them, last year we took them on a morning canoe trip up at Pinnacle Ridge.
Oh, nice.
That was a blast.
Oh, very nice.
That was a blast. I haven't got to do that for years, so I really enjoyed it. I said to Ann, I'm getting in on this one. So,
talking to Teresa White from Ushers Ferry in Cedar Rapids about summer activities, and then you have some weekend festivals and things like that as well, don't you?
Well, we have some, actually we have the weekend things we have the summer solstice, and we also have our Freedom Festival night. And so what happens on those, the summer solstice goes from, I think it's 5 to 8. And we just do activities that have to do with that type thing. And people can just do donations if they want to do that. And our Freedom Festival night is the last Wednesday in June. And I think that's from 5 to 8 or 9. That's a lot of fun. The village is free. Everything's open. We have demonstrations in all the buildings. We have blacksmithing, we have cooking, we have a teacher in the school, we have the saloon open. The only thing that if you want to buy pop and popcorn in the saloon, it will cost you. Otherwise, it's a completely free night. People come out early and they bring their picnics, and they picnic on the pavilion or the gazebo or wherever they want. And that's it's just a really nice night to showcase the village for people who've never been there, and they can really see it for free and see what a pioneer village, an old-time Ushers Ferry village is. So
Ushers Ferry is located off 42nd Street, the very, very end of 42nd Street in northeast Cedar Rapids. And if people want more information about any of this stuff, of course, on the video, you can see Teresa paging through the Cedar Rapids Rec Commission catalog. That's a good place to find this information. But you have a website, too.
crrec.org. Will get you everything, or you can go Google Ushers Ferry, and that website will also get you there.
Pop right up. So whether you're looking for some activities for the kids, maybe have family coming in from out of town during Freedom Festival time and want to show them an interesting time, or if you have a family reunion or a wedding coming up, you can also rent the facility.
Yes, please come out and see it. It really is nice. You can make it as fancy or as simple as you like, but it looks out over the river. It's all glass windows. It's really very pretty, very, very pretty.
Teresa White from Ushers Ferry. Thanks so much for coming in today. Have a fun and eventful summer.
I will. Thank you. Thanks for having me.